3, 2, 1, go.
Uhuru, my name is Casey Mackey, and I'm a member of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, an organization of white people created by and accountable to the African People's Socialist Party, the baddest revolutionary party on the planet and the fastest growing. And I'm also the Economic Development and Reparations Chair of the National Steering Committee of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement. And I just want to say that in the movement we say Uhuru, which means freedom. And you know, I learned recently that the word hello is a totally meaningless word that was invented along with the invention of the telephone just so people could have something to say to each other to acknowledge that they were on the phone. And that the word Uhuru is a Swahili word for freedom that was the war cry of the Mau Mau Army, the Kenya Land and Freedom Army, who fought back against British colonizers trying to steal their land and enslave their people, and they were heroes of humanity. So I would much rather say the Swahili word for freedom than some totally meaningless cracker word. And the reason that we say it in the movement is to keep freedom on our minds at all times, because until Africa is free, no one is free. But that's a whole nother video that I can make another day. Today's video is about a really exciting new website that the movement is launching called the reparationschallenge.org, and it's for one of our biggest campaigns, the Reparations Challenge. And you know, the African People's Socialist Party, which leads the Uhuru movement for African liberation, was founded in 1972 by Chairman Omala Yeshitela in the wake of the brutal counterinsurgency war by the US government against the Black Power movement in the 60s to continue this revolution. And this movement for Black Power has called on white people to stand in material solidarity with Black Power by raising reparations to Black Star Industries, which are the economic programs of the party building a liberated African economy in the hands of the African working class. And it's basically the economic foundation of the African liberation movement, answering the questions of how African people worldwide can be able to feed, clothe, and house themselves and have self-determination. And so we in the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, we raise reparations in a lot of different ways. We have we become members of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, which means financially sustaining Black Star Industries, whether you want to become a member at $5 a month or $100 a month or even $10 a year, or you can recruit other people to do that. We have our web conferences every month where we get party leaders to sum up hot topics in the world to deepen our understanding of current events. And we also raise at least $500 in reparations, sometimes even $1,000. We also have the Days in Solidarity with African People campaign, which takes place in October. And of course we have the Reparations Challenge, which is my personal favorite because it's a way for white people to put our creativity and our unique skills to work to be in material solidarity with Black Power and use these skills to go into our white communities and create fundraisers for reparations. And the point of all these campaigns is to recognize that white people wouldn't even exist, arguably, without Europe's assault on Africa to save itself from feudalism, without the enslavement of African people, and without the genocide and near extermination of the indigenous people of the so-called Americas. 98% of the population of the original population of this land was wiped out. And white people arguably wouldn't exist without these horrific acts, and today our lives are sustained by the continued genocide against African people and indigenous people and theft of their land and resources. This is an extremely horrific and brutal reality that we want to overturn. So, you know, the way that white people can have true unity with the rest of the world is a mass movement for reparations and raising money for the Uhuru movement for African liberation. And we want to build a mass movement to target parasitic corporations and universities that are built on slave labor, that rely on invading Africa and bombing it to steal resources like coltan, things necessary for like Apple and Dell to be able to make computers. But, you know, on the way to build this mass movement, the Reparations Challenge is a campaign for individual white people and our immediate communities to take personal responsibility for our complicity in the violence of colonialism, to take responsibility for the fact that the police weren't even necessary for hundreds of years. Regular white people were responsible for thousands of African bodies hanging from trees through lynch mobs. And, you know, we have to own up to our legacy of white violence and that recognize that reparations are owed by the entire white population, because there is not wealth in the white world that was not derived directly from the sale of African people itself. That we sold African people for money. That's where money came from. So there is not a single dollar that is not drenched in the blood of African and indigenous people, that we sold African people to build capitalism, which is a white power economy, and getting on the right side of history means that we gotta give back the blood money to African revolutionaries who are building a black power economy. And this black power economy of Black Star Industries is amazing. You have Uhuru Foods and Pies, you have Uzi, which is a thread of freedom, a clothing line. You have the Burning Spear newspaper and Black Power 96.3 FM radio station, which is media, putting out the voice of the African working class. Just really incredible economic programs that are designed to take care of Black people first and foremost and unite the African nation. And the Reparations Challenge is basically a rejection of the slavery economy of capitalism built on rape and violence and endless war, and uniting with the liberation economy of Black Star Industries, which is designed to unite the African nation and liberate the entire world. So the Reparations Challenge is really the cornerstone of our work. Is doing these fundraisers and activities, is putting boots to the ground, going into our white friend zone, our white families, our white communities, and having events that really put out this reality and organize our white loved ones and our white communities to take a stand in true solidarity. And this website that we're launching is so important because it'll help this campaign grow and inspire white people all over the world to do the Reparations Challenge. And we have ideas for things that you can do. We have lists of and examples of past reparations challenges that people have taken, such as Comrade Hallie, who has made comics and zines for sale. We have Kafira, who's hosted benefit shows and draws and makes paintings for sale. Comrade Johan has published a poetry book. Comrade Jackson is making like tutorials on how to make different kinds of food and coffee and gives them to and sends them to people in exchange for reparations. Comrade Wendy has done a soap making class and a laundry detergent making class. We have Chelsea, who has done a raw vegan chocolate making class, and Connor, who has sold their music. Jesse Call has sold his music. Kyle has sold his music. You know, it's really incredible. And I'm a DJ, and I host a party called Resist Dance that's a fundraiser for the Uhuru movement. And it's really awesome because I invite all our local DJs and producers to play music, which is a great way to bring people together. And then the music's playing, and then I pause for a second, and I address, hey, white people, you know, our lives are built on slavery and genocide. We owe reparations to African people. We live on stolen land. We need to get on the right side of history. And I mobilize people, and, you know, then we go back to dancing and raise the resources, and it really, you know, is changing the world with every reparations challenge. And, you know, if you need ideas about what you want to do, just contact us. The website again is thereparationschallenge.org, and we have a contact page, and you can send us your ideas and your questions, and we have a committee that'll help you every step of the way to build your challenge, to come up with an idea, to meet your fundraising goal, and get you more involved in this incredible movement, this incredible community of white people in solidarity with Black Power, working under the leadership of poor and working class African revolutionaries. And I just wanted to end with this amazing quote by Chairman Omali Yeshitela, who says, "Every white aspiration and dream, every expectation for happiness and a good life, from a successful marriage to a secure future for their children, requires drone strikes in Pakistan, police murders in the African colonies and barrios in the US, and starvation and forced displacement of the oppressed throughout the world." So that's the reality. White life depends on Black death. That every single white person is connected to the police murders of African people, which happens every 18 hours in this country. And we are trying to overturn this, and the Reparations Challenge is a concrete way to do this. And it's about material solidarity with the Black Power movement of our times. And I just wanted to say also that the ultimate goal of reparations is victory in the struggle of African people to reclaim all their stolen wealth, all their stolen resources and all their stolen culture in their own hands and destroy this horrible system of slavery that is against the interests of all of humanity. So reparations is not just in our interest, it's not just our responsibility, but it's in our interest. And it's a principled way to join humanity, finally, and join with the people of the world who are struggling for a new world free from oppression. So again, go to the reparationschallenge.org and take the reparations challenge. Uhuru.
Uhuru.